Hello queens, I'm back with another client tutorial, and today I'm going to be showing y'all how I created this matte look. As you can see, we got matte eyeshadow and matte lips, so we're just about to get right into it. I'm starting this tutorial off by cleaning her face. Now that her face is nice and clean, I'm going to go ahead and start filling in her eyebrows. And to fill them in, I'm going to be using my Nicka K eyebrow pencil. And I believe I used the color black brown for this tutorial. If it's not black brown, then it's probably just black. But as you can see, I'm just going in and I'm outlining them first. Once I've created a decent shape for both of the brows, I just go in and fill them in, starting at the back and working my way to the front. When I've made my way to the front of her brows, I like to do little up and down strokes just to mimic hairs and to make it look as natural as possible. And then I make sure I go in and brush them out with my spoolie just so they can look a little bit more realistic. To clean up her brows, I'm going to be using my RK by Kiss concealer along with my Nicka K concealer. First, I'm going in with my Nicka K concealer because it's lighter, and I'm going to be using it to clean up under her arch. Now that her arch has been cleaned, I'm going to be taking my RK by Kiss concealer and I'm using it the remainder of the way. Going in with that same RK by Kiss concealer, and I'm using it to clean up the top of her brows. For an eyeshadow base, I'm going to be using my P.louise base, and this one is in the shade Rumor 01. And I'm first going to be applying this to her eyes using this flat brush. Then once I have them covered, I'm going to go in with my buffing brush and just buff out this product. The first eyeshadow shade that I decided to go in with is the brown shade from the Juvia's Place Zulu palette. I'm going to be using this color as my transition. So as you can see, I'm starting off by packing it on the outer edge of her eye using this blending brush. Then I'm also going to take this color and drag it up towards the front of her brows. Next, I'm taking this dark brown shade from my Jaclyn Hill Tom's Morphe palette, and I'm going to be applying this color directly in her crease. Once I have the edges of this color fully blended out, I'm going to go in with a little bit more in the crease just to make it deeper. To cut her crease, I'm going to be using my e.l.f. Camo Concealer in the shade Fair Rose. And I like to really take my time when cutting the crease just so my shape can be as round and perfected as possible. So for this portion of the video, I'm just going to let y'all watch. Now that my cut creases are as even as they're gonna be, I'm gonna take my buffing brush and just use it to buff out all the excess concealer. I'm taking a matte white eyeshadow and I'm just packing it on my cut crease. I wanted my cut crease to be very neutral and very matte, so that's why I decided to go in with white. And once I have it packed on with this brush, I'm going to take this small detail brush and raise up her eye just to make sure I get this color in all the nooks and crannies. Now I'm taking two brown shades from my Jaclyn Hill x Morphe palette and I'm using them to blend out the edge of my cut crease. I'm going to be lining her eyes using this black Wet n Wild liquid liner, and for this look I decided to do a wing. Moving on to the face, I cleaned and moisturized her skin off camera, so now I'm just going in and priming using my calamine lotion. For foundation, I'm going to be going in with these two Fit Me foundations, and first I'm taking the darker foundation and I'm applying it to the outside of her face. Now I'm taking that lighter foundation and I'm just going to be applying it to the inner portions of her face. Blend these two shades together. I'm just going to be using a dense foundation brush. To highlight her face, I'm using some Makeup Revolution foundation, and it's in the color F13. making sure I take this foundation and use it to clean up the edge of her wing slash eyeshadow. To blend out her highlight, I'm going to be using the same brush that I used to blend out her foundation, just so everything can be seamless. I'm going to allow her under eyes to sit a little longer, and while they're sitting, I'm going to go ahead and contour. To contour her face, I'm using my Juvia's Place foundation stick, and it's in the shade Congo. To blend directly under her eyes, I'm just going in with my Real Technique sponge and pressing the foundation in place. To set her highlight in place, I'm using my Fit Me pressed powder, and it's in the shade Toffee. To set the contoured areas of her face, I'm using my Black Radiance pressed powder in the shade Black Coffee. To set the remaining areas of her face, I'm going in with my Black Radiance Pressed Powder in the shade Rich Mahogany. Now I'm taking some of my Fenty loose powder and I'm applying it to everywhere we highlighted, and I'm also going to make sure I press this powder deep into her smile lines just to prevent them as long as possible. I'm taking my black gel liner and I'm using it to line her waterline. I like to use a Q-tip because it makes it so much easier to apply. Now I'm taking a shimmering white eyeshadow and I'm just applying it to the inner tear ducts of her eyes so they can pop. Going in with that same foundation brush, I'm just using it to press all the powder in place. Now I'm taking some eyelashes, y'all. I ordered these from Amazon and I cut them to fit her eye off camera, so now I'm just pressing them on, as you can see. So I fixed her liner. I'm taking a shimmering eyeshadow from my Jaclyn Hill palette and I'm going to be using it to highlight her face. Moving on to the lips, so I decided to do a poppin' red lip for this look, y'all. As you saw in the beginning, it made it look so Hollywood. So right here I'm just outlining her lips, and whenever you're doing any type of color lip, you want to make sure you take your time when lining the lips, just so your lines can be as precise as possible, because if they're not, your client will look crazy and you don't want them to look crazy. Okay, that's just not it. But since I'm doing an ombre lip, I outlined her lips first and then I went back in and filled in the edges. Now I'm taking this Milani liquid lipstick, and this in the color Devotion, and I'm just applying it right on top of the lip liner. The center of her lips, I'm going in with the liquid lipstick from ColorPop. I will have the shade name in the description box down below because at the moment I'm clueless, okay? But this was the first time I used this liquid lipstick, y'all, and it was so pretty. And as you can see, I'm just making sure I work around her piercing, because even though you can clean it, red is just a hard color to remove from anything. So I'm trying to avoid it as much as possible. I'm finished with her lips. I'm just gonna cover her eyes and spray her face with some setting spray. I like to cover the eyes when I'm doing any type of matte eyeshadow look, just because most setting sprays have oil in them, so they will mess up the eyes if you let them. Now we're getting into the grand reveal, so I'm just gonna let y'all watch.
Yes. Ooh, the real lip, it's the real lip. Ombre.
Period. And giving the girls very much Hollywood.
Yeah, get into it.
Get into it.
Get into it, honey. Period.
Period.
Like a doll.
Okay.
The the doorway.
Okay, queens, this is the end of the video. As y'all can see, this look was a success. She loved it so much, as did I. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. A link will be in the description box. Bye bye, queens.